in the workshop at the minute is this Chevy Suburban stretch limo. Obviously it came across from America and we're now in the UK, and in America they have the same brake light and indicator on the lamp cluster. So this is the original one. When you brake, that light and that light come on, and if you would indicate whilst braking, those two brake lights would flash red. Now in the UK you're not allowed to have that. You have to have a separate brake light and a separate indicator, which is obviously orange. So when things get imported across to the UK, they have to be converted across somehow. One of the other things is it has to have a fog light on it, which has been wired. That's underneath there. That's on a separate switch. That's all okay. So this has got what's classed as a two-wire system. So it's got a wire on the driver's side, or the passenger side in this case, because it's left-hand drive. So it's got a wire on this side for the brake and the indicator, because the power comes down one cable, and it has the same on this side, which is one wire for the brake and the indicator. Now what you need to convert it into the UK is a converter box. This one currently has one fitted underneath, but that's what you need there, and that's what the customer has supplied, which is great, fairly straightforward. It has three wires on one side, the wire from this side, the wire from that side going into it, and the ground. And on the other side it has right indicator, left indicator, and a brake supply. Fairly straightforward, or so you would think. The other side of this conversion is these have went to LED. So they went from incandescent bulbs to LED, and normally what you would use is you would use a resistor to stop the indicator from hyper flashing. Now hyper flashing is what happens when, if your bulb goes off, you may have noticed when you've been driving, you put the indicator on and it flashes really quickly. If you put LEDs in a car with a body control module, things like that, the LED, because of its design, it's different to an incandescent bulb. The car doesn't recognize that it has a bulb in, and it thinks that the bulb has gone out, so it flashes really quickly. So you put the resistor in to simulate the incandescent bulb, to sort of trick the car so you don't switch the indicator on and it come up with a failure and flashes the light really quickly. So that's one of the things that we're doing. I already had a go at putting this converter in and it didn't work. Now the reason it didn't work is, or what I was doing is, I could get it so that the indicators would come on, great. I think the brake lights would come on, but as you put the brake lights on, the indicator would just flash quickly and then go off. And then if you were to brake and indicate at the same time, the indicator would flash really quickly. And the hazards, that was it. If you put the hazards on, both brake lights would flash at the same time and not the indicators. So had quite a few different problems going on here. And also I wired the resistor in, and the LED indicators would still flash fast. So the headache begins. So tackling one problem at a time. The indicators, the reason that they are flashing fast on this, so I think the light unit that is being supplied is out of a different model of vehicle in America. I don't think it's necessarily a conversion. I think it's out of a different model. I think he said an Escalade. I'm not clued up on the American models anyway. So the first thing was to stop the LED indicator hyper flashing. So had the resistor wired in the way you're supposed to wire them in, and it was still flashing fast. So a lot of head scratching. Why is it not working? Why is it still flashing fast? Why is it not recognizing? So plug the old light unit in, and The old light unit was working totally fine, reverting back, so it's not a problem with the car, it's the fact that it's got the LEDs in. So the workaround, as I've discovered, is put a resistor in place for on the output side of the converter box, still flashing fast, and then put another resistor in the input side of the converter box, and the LED indicator now flashes normally. Then there was another problem, so we're tackling these problems as they turn up and as they come along. You fix one thing and then something else pops up, so that's great. I've got a resistor in the input side and the output side. The indicator now flashes normally, that's great. If you brake whilst indicating, the indicator flashes 2 or 3 times normally and then goes into hyper flashing again. So we've solved the fast indicator flashing, but now when we're braking and indicating, we've got hyper flashing again, so okay. So I've found the fix for that is to put another resistor on the output side. So we've now got 3 resistors going to one light just to try and get it to function correctly. So I've got 2 resistors, and I don't know if it's because on the original unit it had 2 incandescent bulbs in it, but you would say, well, why doesn't it take 2 to get it to flash normally? It obviously has something to do with the logic inside of the converter box. And then the other problem that we'll have to tackle now is the fact that when you put the hazards on, the hazard lights don't flash, the brake lights are flashing as the hazard lights. So I've come up with a solution to this now. Hopefully I'm going to wire this in, and hopefully another problem doesn't arise, but we'll take it as it comes. I've ordered another converter box, and I think what's happening with this particular converter box is when the hazards are being put on and the supply is coming down that one wire that was on each side and going into the converter box, because the converter box was seeing the supply from both sides, it must think that that supply is for the brakes, and it's not splitting the signals off and cleaning it. So what it's doing is it's still got the pulse for the indicators, but because it's coming into both supplies at the same time, the converter box thinks that it's the brakes. So it's putting output to the brake light, but making it flash. So I've ordered another converter box, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the converter boxes separately. So I'm going to have a converter box for the left side and a converter box for the right side, and just have one supply running through each of them. And hopefully by doing that with the resistors in place, I can get the indicator to flash normally, I can get the indicator to flash whilst pressing the brake pedal, or I can get it to flash normally. Sorry about that, had a customer come through the door. Obviously we have to serve the customers because they're the most important people. So yeah, so hopefully, what was I saying, the 2 converter boxes, one on that side with the supply for that one and the resistors in it, and the other one, the other converter box on this side with the resistors in it. Hopefully we can get the indicators to flash at normal speed, the indicators to flash at normal speed when the brake pedal's being pressed, along with the brake lights coming on. And when we put the hazards on, we want the both indicators, the orange, to illuminate at the right speed, and then also hopefully when we press the brake pedal or indicate at the same time, hopefully all of the functions retain the same and work the way that they should. However, on a more positive note, the reverse lights always worked. So these just plug straight in, the reverse lights have worked no problem, so don't have to worry about that. So yes, this has been a headache from start to finish, trying to work out what the problem is, what's coming into the converter box, what's coming out of the converter box, and just trying to get workarounds to get this so that it can actually get an MOT in the UK. I feel like these converter boxes, somebody hasn't necessarily tried them for this particular thing, or whether this one's been purchased by the customer and it's the wrong one. But I feel like the inputs for the hazards is wrong. It should be able to work that out and put the output out for it, but we'll see what we can do. The main thing is we'll get it wired up, get it working, and get it all tidied up and made safe so that there's no problems with it. Thanks for watching.